I thought I'd seen it all, until the day our HOA Karen claimed she had a spare key to our house. At first, I thought she was bluffing. But when my son caught her red-handed, actually trying to sneak in while we were gone, everything changed. What followed was a storm of lies, camera footage, legal threats, and a neighborhood that finally saw her true colors. Trust me, this isn't just a story about boundaries. It's about standing your ground when someone in power tries to walk all over you. Stick around. It's a story you're not going to want to miss. And if you enjoyed this one, be sure to click subscribe, because tomorrow, we have another special story for you.
It was the kind of neighborhood where nothing ever really happened. Lawns were trimmed like clockwork, mailboxes were painted the same bland beige, and every morning, you'd see neighbors waving with coffee cups in hand. We moved in about 6 months ago, thinking it'd be the perfect place to slow things down a bit. Safe, clean, quiet. The kind of place you don't lock your doors until the evening, at least. That's what I used to think. Then there was Karen. She wasn't elected to any official HOA role, but that didn't stop her from acting like the queen of the block. Clipboard in hand, sunglasses on like she was in the Secret Service, and always ready to point out how your garbage bins weren't precisely in regulation alignment, or how your front door wreath was seasonally inappropriate. Most folks just nodded and played along. I mostly ignored her. My son, Jake, on the other hand, had no patience for her. Jake's 16. Smart kid. Techie, skeptical, and sharp. He saw right through her passive-aggressive smiles and overly sweet, just checking in, routines. He'd roll his eyes every time she walked past our driveway, pretending not to stare into our garage. It started small. Little comments here and there. You know, Karen said one day while I was washing the car, HOA guidelines allow for emergency access. Just in case something happens, of course. I thought she was just being dramatic. Sure, I said, half listening as I hosed down the rims. But she kept going. Sometimes it's just safer when someone trustworthy has a spare key, especially if you travel. I keep a few, for emergencies only. I paused. You keep spare keys to people's houses? She laughed, like it was the most normal thing in the world. Oh, not everyone. Just a few. You never know when a pipe might burst, or if a pet gets loose. I didn't laugh. That didn't sit right with me. I didn't remember signing anything about giving anyone a spare key. Jake overheard from the porch and muttered under his breath, "That's not weird at all." From that point on, I noticed her walking past more often, always glancing a little too long at our house. She even asked one day if we had any upcoming trips planned. I told myself I was overthinking it. That Karen was just being nosy, like always. But Jake wasn't convinced. And honestly, deep down, neither was I. Turns out, we should have trusted Jake's gut a lot sooner. ChatGPT said. It started with small things. Little changes around the house that didn't seem like much at first. One morning, the porch chair was in a different spot than where I left it. I figured maybe the wind blew it or Jake dragged it over and forgot. But the next day, the welcome mat was flipped over. Then a package that I knew had been delivered, one I even got the notification for, just disappeared. Vanished. The shipping company said it was marked as delivered to our front door. I checked everywhere. Nothing. I didn't want to jump to conclusions. Sometimes things just happen. Packages get stolen. But then it wasn't just things outside the house. I noticed the kitchen drawer, where we keep the scissors and tape, was slightly open one evening. Not like how Jake leaves it when he's being careless, but like someone had opened it and gently closed it, just not all the way. The bathroom door upstairs creaked one night when no one was up there. I tried to tell myself maybe it was just the house settling. But the more I noticed, the harder it was to ignore. Jake noticed it too. "You think someone's been in the house?" he asked me one night. I tried to laugh it off, but the truth is, I was starting to feel it. That creeping feeling that someone's watching. That your home doesn't feel quite like yours. He didn't wait for me to confirm it. Jake started setting up cameras. Nothing crazy, just some small ones he picked up online. One behind the front window, one in the living room, another pointed at the hallway near the back door. Just in case, he said, like it was no big deal. But it was. Because even Jake, who usually didn't care about anything beyond school and games, was uneasy. That meant something. Karen didn't help. She started acting different. Still her usual nosy self, but now with an edge. She stopped pretending to be friendly. Instead, she'd make comments like, "You know, the HOA has strict inspection rules about lawn clutter, even though there was nothing on our lawn but a few potted plants." One day she looked me dead in the eye and said, "Some of us are noticing small rule violations." It's important the HOA knows who's following procedures and who's not. The way she said it sent a chill through me. It didn't feel like a warning. It felt like a threat. I wasn't sure what was going on yet, but something was off. Something was wrong. And it was starting to feel a lot less like paranoia and a lot more like we were being watched from way too close. ChatGPT said. It was a Thursday afternoon. I was at work, knee-deep in emails, when I got a text from Jake. "You're not going to believe what just happened." I called him right away. He picked up whispering, "Dad, she tried to get in." My stomach dropped. "Who?" "Karen." She was at the door. With a key. He told me everything in a low, tense voice. He'd been upstairs playing a game when he heard the front door handle jiggle, soft at first, then more insistent, like someone trying to be sneaky but getting frustrated. Jake didn't make a sound. He grabbed his phone and tiptoed to the stairs. From the second-floor landing, he could see the front door clearly. And standing right there, fumbling with keys like she owned the place, was Karen. She wasn't just checking the knob. She had an actual keyring in her hand. Jake said she tried at least 2 or 3 different ones, muttering under her breath like she was trying to talk herself through it. "Come on. I know this one, it worked last time." He didn't want to startle her, so he hit record on his phone and quietly filmed her through the peephole too, just to have proof. The camera we'd set up by the window got the whole thing from outside, clear as day. Karen, standing on our porch, glancing over her shoulder, trying to open our front door with keys she clearly wasn't supposed to have. Then she noticed Jake. She looked up, saw the shadow of someone inside, and froze. Jake opened the door a crack, phone still recording. "Can I help you?" Karen jumped back like she'd touched a hot stove. Her smile came fast, too fast. "Oh, Jake, sweetie, I was just checking on things. HOA business, you know. I thought you were all out. Sometimes we do surprise inspections. Just safety stuff." Jake didn't say anything. He just kept recording. She started fidgeting with her sunglasses, her smile twitching, clearly caught off guard. "I'll come back later. Tell your dad I stopped by." Then she turned and walked off like nothing had happened. Only now, we had it all on camera. The next HOA meeting was packed. Usually, they were dull, 5 or 6 people half listening while Karen talked about lawn heights and mailbox paint. But this time, word had gotten around. Jake and I sat near the front. He had the video queued up on his phone, ready to go. I wasn't interested in playing games. I just wanted answers. When it was time for open comments, I stood up. "Karen," I said, holding up my phone. "Do you want to explain why you were trying to unlock my front door last Thursday?" She blinked hard. I have no idea what you're talking about." Jake stood beside me and hit play. The room went silent. You could hear the doorknob jiggle in the video, Karen whispering to herself as she tried different keys. Her face on the screen was undeniable. Karen laughed, but it didn't sound right. "This is a misunderstanding," she said quickly. "I was just checking on the property. As an HOA volunteer, I sometimes make rounds to ensure community safety." "Using a key?" I asked. "That you weren't supposed to have?" She waved a hand, like that part didn't matter. Sometimes homeowners forget to lock their doors, and I just wanted to make sure nothing was wrong. That's when another neighbor stood up. Then another. A woman near the back said she'd once found Karen in her backyard, claiming to be inspecting fence alignment. A man on the left side of the room said his gate latch kept getting mysteriously opened after Karen commented on his dog being a liability. The board didn't know what to do. You could see them shifting uncomfortably, whispering back and forth. One member suggested suspending Karen's access to HOA duties until things were sorted. Another wanted a full investigation. Karen stood frozen, her smile slipping for good now. "This is ridiculous," she snapped. "I've done nothing but protect this neighborhood." Jake looked at me, then uploaded the video to his social media. Within a few hours, it started gaining traction. People commenting things like classic HOA overreach, and she could have gone to jail for that. The neighborhood was finally starting to see her for who she really was. The investigation didn't take long. Turns out, Karen had been using a key copied years ago from a former HOA board member, someone who'd quietly moved out without ever realizing Karen still had access. She never had permission to use it, let alone make copies. But she had, and according to the locksmith the HOA brought in, she'd tried to use that key on at least 3 other homes in the neighborhood. Ours was just the one that finally caught her. The HOA board had no choice. Karen was officially removed from all positions, banned from any future involvement, and issued a formal warning. But that wasn't enough for me, not after she tried to walk into our home like she owned it. With the video, witness statements, and a little help from a lawyer friend, we filed for, and were granted, a restraining order. Karen wasn't allowed within 100 feet of our house, period. For a while, she kept her head down. No more strolls past our yard. No more fake smiles or clipped warnings. Just silence. The fallout didn't stop there. Our neighborhood woke up. People who used to ignore the rules or just accept them started asking questions. The next HOA vote saw a record turnout. New leadership was voted in, people who actually listened. One of the first things they did was revise the policy manual, clearly outlining privacy rights and banning any kind of unapproved property access. Every key, every record, was audited. Jake, somehow, became the quiet hero of the block. Neighbors came up to thank him for speaking out, for filming, for not letting it slide. Someone even dropped off a batch of cookies with a note that said, "Thanks for keeping us safe." He tried to act cool about it, but I caught him smiling more than once. Looking back, it still shocks me how fast things changed, from weird porch furniture to catching someone trying to unlock our door. All it took was one video, one kid trusting his instincts, and one neighbor finally standing up. We don't worry about Karen anymore. But the cameras are still up, and the locks have been changed. And if she ever tries another inspection, we'll be ready.